So, you're thinking about moving to Shawnee, Kansas? Well, good news. In this video, we're gonna be talking all about Shawnee, Kansas. And if you stick around to the end, we're gonna take you to these neighborhoods at different price points so you can see what you might be able to afford on your budget right here in Shawnee. And we're gonna get started right now. Hey, if this is your first time tuning into the channel and you want to know everything there is to know about living in Kansas City, Kansas, Kansas City, Missouri, and places like Shawnee, Kansas, and click subscribe, hit that little bell for notifications so you can be the first to know of the current market here in the KC metro area. My name is Zach Morton. My business partner, Max Jones, the Mojo Real Estate team, and I have been helping people move to Kansas City for over 20 years. We absolutely love it, but you don't have to take my words for it. See what our clients have to say with over 600 5-star Google reviews from people just like you. So whether you're moving in 9 days or 90 days, you just pick up the phone, you can give us a call, shoot us a text, drop us an email, even schedule a Zoom call so we can have that conversation with you and talk about your goals. All that information is in the description below, so just click down there and reach out. So right now, like I said, we are standing in Shawnee. If you can't tell, we're gonna start talking all about it. So let's start first with the size of it. It's right at 43 square miles. So not a big city, and a population of 67,000 people, which puts this number 8 as far as population size in the KC metro area. Well, back in the old days, Shawnee served as a road to connect Fort Leavenworth with Fort Riley. Fort Leavenworth, if we have a vlog on Leavenworth, was the first city in Kansas, but that's where the military base is. And that was set up to protect the settlers as they moved west on the Santa Fe Trail and the Oregon Trail, and they used Shawnee as a road. Later on, Shawnee, they decided to plat it as a town back in like 1857, and the rest is history. But right now, we are standing in downtown. I love cities with the nice little downtowns. This one has several blocks. We're just gonna take a walk around and take a talk around, a walk and talk. So let's talk about how far Shawnee is from Kansas City City Center. So it's about 10 miles. We've got great highway access, I-35, which is gonna run you on the east side of Shawnee, right up into Kansas City, and it's about 10 miles. Depending on traffic, you're probably 15, 16 minutes, also depending on where you're at in Shawnee, but super close to downtown Kansas City. And you know, you're surrounded by a lot of great suburbs and cities as well. We're in Johnson County. Can't really go wrong in Johnson County. It is a great spot, but we're talking about Shawnee today. All right, now I was born and raised right here in the KC metro area and grew up over 40 years of my life here. However, I did take a little hiatus with my kids when I was about 38, and we moved out to the West Coast, lived in Oregon for a few years. So I've been through recently what you might be going through also before I came back to Kansas City and had to go through it all again. And you know, we had little kids when we were going out there, and that was really what was most important to us with the schools. So out here in Shawnee, you have 2 great school districts. We've got the Shawnee School District, but then you also have DeSoto. So DeSoto is the next suburb to the west, and that will, as we get further west in Shawnee, it gets kind of sparse, so that's when the DeSoto School District picks up. They are both rated A+ school districts. You can't go wrong, you're just splitting hairs. But if you are interested in doing a little more research on the schools, there's niche.com, there's greatschools.org. It's gonna have all kinds of information, but you really can't go wrong on those school districts. There's also, for the pre-K through 8th grade, there is 9 private school options. And then even for the high school, for like 9 through 12, you've got 6, I believe it's 6 private school options as well. So tons of options for education. Everything is highly rated. Can't go wrong there, but those are some websites you can check out if you want to look into that. So that's what was important to us, and that's what we kind of started with on our search, was finding that great school district. But maybe it's not important to you, and that's why we're going to go through the rest of what Shawnee has to offer and all the good things about it. Also, along with those schools too, you're going to have all sports options under the sun. So your kids are going to be able to get into anything. I mean, anything. But something else I want to talk about is transportation. There is the Johnson County transportation. It's going to handle all your bus services. I will say that most people living in the suburbs or the cities around Kansas City are going to have a car. I don't know a lot of people that'll take the bus from a suburb into the city, but it is an option. just here in the KC metro area, it's not what we're known for, is our public transportation. So get that out of the way right out of the gate. I also do want to mention, let's touch on like the rent to own ratio. Shawnee has one of the best rent to own ratios. We have 26% rent and 73, is that right? 73% own. So a great ratio. Anytime that tips towards home ownership, it just means that people have pride in their community. They want to stay here. They want to live here. They invest in their community, and those are great signs. Now, with some of that, we're downtown right here in the old downtown. They are kind of, as they're doing almost everywhere now, kind of revitalizing it. So there are some brand new condos with shopping underneath it that you can get into and live close by. But I just wanted to touch on that. The median income in Shawnee is $98,000. All right, so let's talk grocery shopping. So you're gonna have every option under the sun here, even shopping across the board, but you're gonna have, let's see, there is a meat market. So I just get some of the weird ones that you don't usually see. There's a dedicated meat market here. There is an Ethiopian grocery store. There is a Mexican grocery store that's gonna have all your Mexican cuisine. We've got 2 organic stores, one which is your natural grocers is what it's called, and then Sprouts, which is another one all over Kansas City. We've got your Hy-Vee, your Price Choppers, which you can find everything plus organics at, Aldi's, and the list goes on, and there's more than one of them, obviously. We've got a lot of people here, so can't go wrong with groceries. And then with shopping in general, let's see, there is the station, the Shawnee Station, which is an area right by one of the major highway systems, which is 435 we talk about. So where those 3 highways cross Shawnee Mission Parkway that kind of runs east to west, you have 3 major highways that go north to south. Around each one of those is always going to be like a hub, like a shopping hub, and that's what the station is. It's at the 435 one. That's going to have your Home Depots, your Targets, your Bed Bath & Beyonds, all that kind of stuff. And it's just all lined up with a massive parking lot, easy to get to, easy to get out of, restaurants and all that stuff. There is several shopping plazas that are also located more along Shawnee Mission Parkway, but all up and down that. So no matter which neighborhood you land in, you're gonna be pretty close to one of those shopping plazas. Restaurants galore, all kinds of food. There's 5-star dining options here, which we don't get in a lot of these smaller cities, but there's 5-star, there's what's it called, the Vine at the Castle. Definitely check that one out. That's in an old castle. That's really cool. It always gets raving reviews. But barbecue, obviously we're talking Kansas City, so you're gonna have to find your favorite barbecue spot. Those are scattered all throughout. We've got, of course, there's all the chains, all the coffee shops. We've got Dutch Bros. Actually, when I was out west, Dutch Bros was huge, and there's people that love their Dutch Bros. So we've got your Dutch Bros here. We've also got your Starbucks. We've also got your local mom and pops. Breweries, there's actually one just here at the end of the street. If I keep walking and keep talking, I'm sure we're gonna get right to that one. But lots of local breweries. Some of them serve food, some of them serve beer. One of them even does not craft beers, but they'll also do craft sodas. So if you don't wanna catch a buzz, you can get a sugar high. So that's kind of cool. So just lots of options. They really have gone above and beyond out here, and you can feel it when you're walking down the street talking to people. All right, Zach, so that all sounds great. So what's it cost to live there, huh? Well, all in all, it's really not too bad. We've got just in the Shawnee area over the last 12 months, this is data directly from our multiple listing service. That's where all the information starts, is from that site. So I pulled that just yesterday. We have, in Shawnee, we have 83 active right now. That average, or the median active price is $539. So that's a little higher, but it doesn't matter what they're listed at, right? It matters what they're selling at. So the median sold price over the last 12 months out of 869 properties is coming in right at $360,000. So that's not a bad number. That is pretty sweet. In fact, that's only a little bit above the national average for a place that's really nice, set up sweet and clean, and people want to be here, people take care of their stuff. So those are the raw numbers right from the MLS on the sale price. All right, so I think this traffic's gonna clear for a second. We're gonna try not to get killed, but let's say the property tax out here right now is coming in as Johnson County property tax. It's a little higher than other areas, but you know, it's kind of what you expect. You got the A+ schools. Everything's well manicured, taken care of. So, you know, a lot of that property tax does go to pay for the schools. So that's what you get. And what that's coming in is about 1.27% of the appraised property value or the assessed property value. So not horrible. Taxes or sales taxes coming in right at 9.6. So that is a little bit on the higher side, but you know, not the end of the world. There's 9.2, 9.4 next door, so it's right in the ballpark. And then 5.7% on the income tax. So those are kind of the tax numbers that nobody really wants to talk about. What else can I tell you? How about rain? Shawnee gets on average 41 inches of rain a year, 15 inches of snow, and 216 days of sunshine. So that's pretty good. Our seasons out here, we do have hot summers and cold winters. It doesn't really last long. The super hot days maybe last for a couple weeks where it's around 100, hovers right around there. But that makes the summer nights, like you can come out and you're in shorts and a t-shirt, you're not sweating, you're not cold. The summer nights are perfect for walking around downtown. So I love that. And then during the days, you know, we beat the heat by getting to the lakes and the splash parks. There's a couple of aquatic centers here with a lazy river. A lot of the subdivisions and neighborhoods will have pools. A lot of the parks will have lakes and all that kind of stuff to beat the heat. In the winter, same drill. You know, that 15 inches of snow usually doesn't stick around very long. It's usually snows. You may shovel your driveway, you may not. It may just melt right off the next day, is most of the case. But really, our biggest concern is the ice, because we're right on those where the jet stream is and all that. We'll have evenings where, you know, we'll have days where the sun comes out, kind of melts the snow, or maybe it's sleeting, and then at night it gets those freezing temperatures. And that's when we get this thing called black ice. So you just got to be careful for that. We have awesome maintenance crews out here. They'll go around and salt the streets. And they're running all the major streets and subdivisions. So for the most part, the roads are usually in pretty good shape, but just something to look out for, because if you're coming from like an East Coast or a West Coast, especially West Coast, you're probably not running into anything like that, especially if you're coming from Texas or down south. Our Chicago people probably know all about it, but that's kind of what you can expect with the weather out here. Spring and fall are amazing, outside all the time, and that's all I can say. All right, so entertainment. Lots of things to do here. You're not gonna run out of stuff to do in Shawnee. But some of the things that kind of top the list is we've obviously got this downtown area that I'm walking through right now. All kinds of restaurants, shops, things to do, little boutiques. There is also plenty of dining and bars and breweries and coffee shops. So you're not gonna get bored down here. In fact, first Fridays, first Thursdays, there is stuff going on all the time. I'll talk about that a little more when we get to that part, but never a shortage of fun things to do downtown. Also beyond that, when you're down off Shawnee Mission Parkway, you've got like trampoline parks, splash parks. We kind of touched on that. There's 2 big aquatic centers, swimming pools. But then, you know, I keep saying parks, parks, parks. One of the baddest parks this side of the river on the Kansas side is Shawnee Mission Park. We've talked about this in our Lenexa video, because Lenexa and Shawnee actually share that border of this park, even though it's called Shawnee Mission Park. But it's a 1,600 acre park. It has a 120 acre lake right in the middle. You can rent boats, you can rent paddle boards, canoes, kayaks, all that stuff float around in the lake. There's also miles and miles and miles of mountain bike trails. What else? There's an archery range out there, so you can go out there and shoot your bows. There's some youth camping spots. There is a 40 acre dog park, which I love. It goes right down to the water, and there's a beach there. So there's a dog beach, and you can take your tennis ball and you chuck it. That's what I like to do. I got a border collie, so you can wing it out there, make them swim a quarter mile, wear them out. They stay wet and cool. They absolutely love it. I think it's great too. And looks like a barbershop. It's kind of cool. So I think that's great. And I love, you know, personally, I have a dog. I've been to a lot of dog parks. I hate the small ones because nobody ever picks up after their pet, and your dog ends up stepping in, you know what. And now when you got 40 acres, it's really spread out. and I just feel a little bit better about that. So anyway, that's great. There's also you can take your boat out to it, to the Shawnee Mission, or to the lake at Shawnee Mission Park. They have a boat washing station that they just installed. They're trying to keep invasive species, mainly zebra mussels, out of the lakes around here. So they have a boat washing station. Wash your boat before it goes in, wash it when it comes out. And all the water that comes off the boat goes into the sewer system, stays out of the lake. So that's pretty nice. And really just a great park system with lots to do. There's also a skate park, a pump track, a mountain bike kind of trials area, golf course on the north side. All right, so Shawnee Park, talking about parks, Shawnee Parks and Regs is amazing out here. They offer, not only do they maintain all of these parks and those 2 state-of-the-art aquatic centers, but they offer over like 500 classes. In fact, if you go to Shawnee's website, I think it's ShawneeKansas.org or something, Google that, whatever it is, but it is chock full. It's a really good website. It's one of the best ones I've seen for a city in a long time. And it's got all that information in there, all the parks, pictures of the parks, all the activities that they do. They have their activity calendar right there. But right here, we're in front of the City Hall, and they, first Fridays, and they call it Moonlight something, but first Thursdays, they will be out here, and they let everybody set up. I think it's from like 6 to 9 or 10, so it's in the evening hours under the moonlight. And everybody sets up their little tents, and you can come out here, and there's live music playing. There's beer vendors and food trucks, and all these tents set up. We'll post up some pictures of that, but that's a great event. Come out here when it's cool, kind of beat the heat. And then every first Friday, you'll be out here as well, and there'll be concerts going on. So live music, more beer vendors, microbrews, and of course, you got restaurants and breweries all around the square right here, so you'll be able to take advantage of those as well. So lots of cool things. They even have like an antique car show where you can bring your old cars, your hot rods down here and show them off. Bring your motorcycles. Any excuse they can have to throw a party down here or a parade or do something fun. They are all about it, know how to have a good time. And what's really cool about this downtown is I don't know if you can see it in the background, we've got houses totally surrounding totally surrounding this whole area. So you can live close to this, and it's very walkable and just a really, really cool spot. If I wanted that vibe, I would definitely try to get a house close to this area so I could come down here, walk down here, and take advantage of all those amenities and all those things that Shawnee pulls off for the residents. Now, of course, they're gonna have a farmer's market, right? You would expect that with everything else they've got going on here. So yeah, farmer's market happens every Saturday. And I do believe they have some of that stuff that'll be out here on that moonlight, the moonlight thing as well. So you have access to that a couple days. That's on Friday night. Some other cool things, there is a really old town here, like a 1927 town that the Parks and Recs have restored. So you go there and it's got like the old barber shop. It's a really cool place to hold events, and they do tours, and kids' schools can go there. But they hold events like Dog Days of Summer, which is just a time for people to get together, bring their dogs and pets out, have a good time, all centered around pets. There's prizes for, your dog with the longest tongue, dog with the waggiest tail, all that kind of stuff. So if you have that, it's just fun for the whole family. Bring the kids, bring the folks, get out there, meet your neighbors, and meet the neighborhood dogs. So that's pretty cool. They also have, I think it's on Wednesdays out here, it's Jamming on the Greens, which is like blues music. So there'll be the same band, I think, comes out every week for that. But again, live blues music, concerts in the park. There's no shortage of fun things to do right here in Shawnee when it comes to outdoor entertainment and the community all coming out and getting together. It's just that right size. It's not so dense that you just feel like you're cramped, but just that right size where everybody's really nice and friendly, talks to their neighbors, but live and let live, not got my nose in your business kind of stuff. So that's kind of the vibe out here. All right, there's all kinds of economic incentives too to come here, especially if you operate a business. So definitely check on that if you own a business or plan to start one. If you go to that city website that I just mentioned a little bit ago, There is, I think her name is Linda. You can hop on there. There's her phone number. You can give her a call, be like, hey, here's what I want to do. What economic incentives do you offer for me? So I would definitely check that out. That's pretty cool. Along with that, there's still a lot of employers here. So reason this place is so great is there is some industry. They're especially up by the river. We are surrounded, like the north and the west side of this is surrounded by the Kansas River. So there is some river bottoms. And that's kind of nice because that allows some of that industry to have a place to park and not really take up the good real estate up on the hills, looking over the rivers. Speaking of hills, Shawnee's kind of known for its rolling hills. And if you drive through here, kind of go north to south mainly, I think you'll notice it more, but you're just going up and down hills. One of the subdivisions we're going to take you to is called Seven Hills Farm. So, but it's beautiful. You just got to take a drive through it to get a feel for it. But I was getting back to the employment opportunities. Not only is there economic incentives, but we've got some major employers like FedEx is here. They employ almost 600 people. Bayer Healthcare, Students First, Shawnee, of course, the city of Shawnee, Walmart, Hy-Vee, KU Med. So we're not too far from KU, actually, Kansas University, which is in Lawrence. You're probably 30-35 minutes just straight west of here down the highway. So you've got easy access to that. Just something to mention if you're just kind of checking out this lock your heart up thing. If that's something you're interested, or being close to a state school, KU is an awesome one. And then Target, Kraft, so a lot of great companies. So not only can you love where you live, but you can work where you live and love that too. All right, Zach, well, that all sounds great. How's the crime? Well, everybody's got a different definition of crime, obviously, but we'll pop this graph up that shows the violent crime. And we've got the blue bar and the gray bar bouncing around towards the top, which is Kansas as a whole. And then the US, or the nation, and then you see this orange line bouncing across the bottom, and that's Shawnee. So crime super low. Even though this city does butt up, or it's like first tier property to Kansas City, still super low crime. I feel totally comfortable here walking around anywhere. I mean, even the gas stations, I walked into one today, I filled up, has a humidor that you can walk into. So even the gas stations are upscale. So it just kind of has that vibe to it, and I feel totally safe. But you can check out like niche.com. There's lots of other websites that give you those safety ratings. So if that's something that's super important to you, you can definitely check that out. So all in all, I think, it really is it's a sweet spot. The overall cost of living is coming in right at 103% of the national average. So just slightly higher. You get all this. And the biggest push over that was the housing pricing, which was coming in at 111%. Maybe mixing those numbers up a little bit, but basically my main point is what I'm trying to get to is it's slightly above the national average overall cost of living. Taking groceries, transportation, heating and cooling, utilities, all that stuff. We're still pretty much right on that line. It is the property values that push it up just a little over that, but with that comes the great schools, right? The property taxes, which support the great school systems. And when you have more tax dollars, you get better parks, better streets, revitalized downtowns, cool little vibing spots like this. And I think it's worth it. So certainly places in Kansas City you can get that are under that average price point, but I think for what this has to offer, it would be top of my list. So all in all, it really gets my vote as a sweet spot. And there's lots of opportunities, as you go east. So we said 35 is to the east. This is, I'm real close to Shawnee Mission Parkway, but 35 is to the east. As you go west, we'll have 435 and then 7 Highway. So older side of towns that way. As we move east, it gets a little newer. And as we look at houses, we kind of go from east to west as well. As we stop at these next few houses. But you'll see that you get a little more elbow room as you get out, and a little newer the further you go west. And in fact, if you go all the way west, it starts to turn into a country vibe, and you can still find land with acreage. If you want to build new construction on acreage or find something for sale that's on 5-10 acres, that's totally possible as well. It does get, as you start going west, down the highway, you just, you drive for a mile or so and don't even see a house. So it gets pretty sparse out there, but that's kind of, in a nutshell, how Shawnee feels. And just to one of the splash parks that I was talking about, it's just right here. Splash Cove Aquatic Center. You can see the water slide, all the fun stuff, and that's just off the square. So, I mean, just to go on and on, you can just come down here and have a really good time. So anyway, I think we've talked about Shawnee enough. You can always ask questions, put them in there below, and we'll get answers to you. If it's not right away, it'll be within a day or so. So please drop questions and comments in there. But let's go take a look at some houses, shall we? All right, y'all, so here we are at our first house. This house right behind me, I'm standing in front of right now, is coming in at $315,000. So this is gonna be the lowest price one we're gonna look at today, or the most affordable. It is a 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath. We've got 2-car garage on the front, and this is a side-to-side split. This is, depending on where you come from, some people don't have basements, like down south in Texas and all that. So this does have a basement. This is a side-to-side split. Let me see, I probably got some sunlight flashing on the camera here. This is a side-to-side split, which is gonna offer, it's gonna have a half a flight of steps going up and to the right over the garage. And then you're gonna have a half a flight going down and to the left. It's gonna give you an extra living room down in the basement, and then even a sub-basement, so lots of space. But what that side-to-side does is it just gives you more square footage on a smaller footprint. So basically brings the price per square foot down because you can get more house on the same footprint for a little less money. So anyway, this one is ready to go. It's really nice inside. You basically just turn the key and start living. We'll put some images up on the inside of this, but this gets you in right at $315,000. It's just over 2,000 square feet, so that price per square foot is coming in at $153 a square foot. This home was built in the 1970s. I'll kind of pan around the neighborhood just so you can see. It's a nice, quiet neighborhood. Everybody's got their grass mowed, taking care of everything. There is some street parking. I'm not seeing sidewalks right here. So, you know, a lot of these older neighborhoods, they weren't into that back then. So this is still a nice, quiet spot. You're close to everything. Great highway access, and this is what you can get for $315,000 right here in Shawnee. Let's go on to house number 2. All right, here we are at house number 2. This house is coming in. This is in Seven Hills Farm. So I will mention, maybe I talked about it already, but this, you know, Shawnee is kind of known for its rolling hills. As you're driving around out here and down some of the major roads, notice you're going up and down and up and down. So Seven Hills, it's perfectly fitting. In fact, there's a hill right behind me, but the subject property is right here. This is on the market right now for $425,000. What you're gonna get for $425,000 is a 4-bedroom, 3.5 bath. This is a 1.5 stories, so if you're not familiar with what that means, it just means that there's 2 stories there. There is a master on the main level, so that's the 1 story with the master on the main, and then the 1/2 story has the rest of the bedrooms upstairs. So this is great for like parents that don't want to be running up and down stairs like in a 2-story to go to the master bedroom. Master's on the main. All the kids are upstairs making a racket and making a mess, and you don't have to deal with it unless you want to. So this also comes with a finished basement. So total square footage of finished space here is 4,000 square feet, which puts this right at $104 a square foot, which, holy cow, that's kind of a steal. So I don't expect this one's gonna last very long. So that's what you can get for $425,000 right now. A lot of value there in Shawnee. And I'll point out there is an HOA. It's not much, it's $31 a month. Now there's not a neighborhood pool or anything that's gonna go to cover, but there is something really cool. I'll point this out just right across the street here, if you can see that sign. We have a neighborhood park, which is right across the street from the house, so they're gonna mow and maintain that. You can see swing sets and stuff down there, so you get the Frisbee out, let the dog run. You get some park space right across the street from this house. And then as I pan around, I mean, you can just, it's nice and wide open. We're a little further west, we talked about it before, but as you move west through Shawnee, you get a little more elbow room, a little newer. This house is built in 1993, and our last one was built in the 70s. So that's just kind of the common theme that you see when you get, when you're on the west side of 35 or on the east side as you go away from that highway. Things tend to get a little bit newer, and neighborhoods are a little fresh. We've got sidewalks, plenty of mature trees. There is no mailboxes, so I do see up there we have a community mailbox post at the top of the hill, and then one down the street, so that's kind of nice too. So you can get out, ride your bikes down that. I remember as a kid, my cousin lived in Texas. We're down there hanging out with him and clipping a few mailboxes on bikes in the middle of the night. So that's kind of nice if you're a kid and out roaming the neighborhood. You're not going to clip a mailbox out here. All right, let's take off and head out to house number 3. All right, so here we are coming up on house number 3. This house is brand new construction. So just to compare that with what we've looked at today, it's standing right here behind me and it is ready to go. It is priced at $640,000. This plan is a, well, let me tell you, it's a 4-bedroom, 4-bath. It's got a 3-car garage on the front. And this is a reverse ranch. So what that means is you've got all the main living and kitchen. You just walk right in, you know, no steps, maybe a step or two at the front stoop, but no major steps. Everything's on that main level, even the master. And then downstairs is that half story. It's gonna give you the rest of your bedrooms and a wet bar and a walkout and all kinds of cool stuff. But just to point out on this one that this one's got going for it is it does have a second bedroom, for the 4th bedroom. So you do actually have 2 bedrooms on that main floor. So something that I've run into more and more is a lot of older couples find it that they sleep better at night when they have their own room. So I don't, you know, it can also be used as an office, but just to point that out, usually the older folks are looking for something with no steps. This has that, and it has 2 bedrooms on the main floor. So it could cover, it really could fit a lot of people. So just point that out. It does have a covered deck on the top patio, which is really nice. You can sit out there when the weather's kind of bad and still enjoy the outdoor space. We do have the elementary school, which is just across the street from the subdivision. We've got golf course just across the street, and this is the furthest west out of the houses we've looked at today. So newer, like I said, brand new. As you move west, things get newer, a little more elbow room, a nice new subdivision, and this is what you get. It's coming in right at $221 a square foot. So right at the top of the range, but we're in the nice top of the range, new part of town with all the sidewalks and nice new everything. So I'll pan around here a little bit. There is an HOA out here. It's $650 a year. So some of them are monthly, some of them are annually. So that's not really too bad when you, if it's just once a year. And that's gonna cover all of the mowing for the entrances, the little parks and all that kind of stuff. So that is house number 3. Hey, as always, I love you guys watching these videos, and I love the likes, the comments, the subscriptions, all that helps more people find us. But really, it's all about you and your goals and what you want to do. So we really need to have that 2-way conversation. So just let us know, reach out, let us know how we can help. And thanks for watching. Remember, you got a couple friends in the business. We'll see you on the next one. Thanks.